So on number 14, this has come up both other classes today as well. When you look at this one, it's asking you to write the equation of the line through the point 2,5 that has an undefined slope. Slope? Slope. What kind of lines have undefined slopes?
Horizontal. Vertical.
Vertical. Vertical lines have horizontal. Vertical lines have undefined slopes. What's the equation of every single vertical line? X equals something. What does x equal? Now, think about this. Think about this. If you don't fully grasp this idea, if you just by hand real quick mark off where 2,5 is, it's right there. Vertical lines go up and down. As you're moving up and down that line, does the value of x ever change? Bless you.
No.
No. And that's why we say it's x equals an number. Okay? That's all that one was. All right? That's all that one was. The other one you were saying was 8?
Yes.
Good. This is kind of this is the style of problems that we're going to be working on a little bit more of today with parallels and perpendiculars by getting y by itself to identify slopes. So we'll do a bunch of stuff like this today.
Okay, because I realized I got like a lot of that. This board.
So, in order for us to be able to do anything to get to slope-intercept form has which variable by its lonesome? Correct. It has y by itself, which means we have to move things around. So there are a couple of different ways of doing this with this problem. The first way is to move the 11x. Well, how do I move the 11x? Subtract it. One of the things that I've seen a lot throughout the course of the past few days is when we rewrite this step, some people aren't putting the negative 11x before the negative 48. You're still writing it behind it. Do yourself a favor when you rewrite these equations like this. Put the one with the x value right after you write down the equal sign. That way you're going to be quicker to identify what the slope points up being. Also, a mistake that I see pretty regularly with this style problem is whenever you have a negative here, you forget to rewrite it on the next line down. Hey, hey!
Hi. These two things.
There's two things. Is there one in here?
No.
Oh, who's talking? Dulce. Money. And Claudia. You just got here. Good riddance to that, so it's a joke. I went past. This is just pass it around. See how long it takes to get there. I'm joking. It's just how I am. Now what do?
Divide it all by
Ladies and gentlemen, this does not mean subtraction. I've seen that quite often as well.
divide.
Okay? Negative divided by negative is always positive.
Okay, that's
Oh, by the way, the calculators. We finally tracked them down via GPS. They found the truck. It is slowly driving here. Going really, really slowly. They said Monday. But I've also been told by students that Walmart has the multi-view calculators on sale for the low, low price of $11. That is quite the discounted rate from the $15 that we would charge you. By my calculations, and I'm no math major, that's $4 cheaper. And then the tax money goes back to the community versus giving us $15 and we buy batteries online, which we don't get tax-based help from. So you are helping your own community by purchasing things locally, even though Walmart is the devil.
Guys, this is why he didn't go into.
what?
But I've done commercials. No, I have. I will. I have. I've done a couple of different commercials in my life.
Are you like true?
Yeah. And this is, you know, I do that 85-15, 85 true, 15. This is the 85. Seriously.
What?
When
What commercials?
I've done a couple local ones. My mom, back in the, let's see, back in the 80s, she was writing commercials for a local cable company. She was in advertising. And my brother and I did a bunch of parts. What's up?
My aunt works in the back of like Geico commercials and stuff.
Nice.
And like other stuff.
That's cool. I've done that. I've done a few things like that.
Do you have to like record it and stuff?
Oh, of course.
You have to go over to YouTube?
No, you can't find my YouTube, but I have one.
Yeah, trying to what?
Someday. No.
You probably-
I've also been on Letterman. I was paid extra. I'm not lying. This is truth. You don't believe me. You don't believe me.
Me?
No, of course. She doesn't believe me at all. She's looking at me like I'm really crazy. Seriously, I have been.
Are you talking about me?
No,
I'm not
she,
sure.
yeah, she looked at me. She gave me the
I don't believe you.
exactly. Well, I've done stuff. I got paid to be that. So this one's done. We have it. Slope intercept form and go. Let's do one of the parallels or perpendiculars they had on there. Because I know there was a couple that had some pretty funky fractions, I think. Which one was it? 18 has been asked quite a bit. Eighteen's been asked a lot about write the equation line that's parallel, given the setup of the equation. Remember, whenever you're doing system or writing out equations that are parallel, your very first step is always to identify what the original slope is. So when we do this, we know that our original slope is 7/3. What's parallel to 7/3? 7/3. Convenient, isn't it? And now we're going through the point -3, -3. Do I need to write things out as minus and negative? No. Thank you. So I'm just going to write it as y plus 3 and so on. Now, at this point, we have to distribute the 7/3. And if you have the calculator, you don't need to worry about fractions because in the calculator,
Does it for you?
it does it for you. If you've got the multi-view calculator, there's the fraction bar. We just type in 7/3, 7/3 times 3, and you get 7. If you don't have that one, if you have any of the other styles, if you use parentheses around the division, for example, parentheses 7 divided by 3, because really a fraction is just division. If you throw parentheses around it to what we call group it, multiply it by 3, and you get the same result. Guys, I'm telling you that multi-view calculator is perfect for this class. It's the last one you'll have to buy until you guys go off into college, if you go out there, whatever. But it's worth it. Send them across. And lastly, how do you move the 3?
Subtract it.
Very good. And we're done.
Okay, so why in the bottom does it use it?
The instructions had to go to point slope form. I will always ask you to finish it with slope intercept. Like I said at the beginning of class, I forgot that's what it said in the instructions. That was on me.
Okay, but I was looking at that.
Yeah, it's just keep going to, if you're going to slope intercept, you're fine. So, make sure your name's around that, send that up, and let's do a couple more of these examples as far as the solving for y stuff, because I know that's one of the things we're still struggling with.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, that happened last. Said my name. That happened last year too.
Not surprised.
No, see, he's not saying that. He's saying my name wrong. I have 2 papers, so I don't know if I should people.
What do you want?
No, that pisses me off. People say my name wrong. People say a lot.
All right.
A lot.
So,
I gotta read it.
why?
It's not in here anymore.
What? Oh, that's right. I gotta put another stapler up higher, so you don't have to walk so far. Whatever, lazy bum. Is it?
Yeah.
What do you want? Good bet. Now, one of the, like I was saying, one of the things that I've noticed that you guys are having issues with still is that when we're working with the writing the equations out, after or if they are not in slope-intercept form. If we have to get them into slope-intercept form is where we're having some issues. So what I want to do today is work on that aspect a little bit more. Ooh, grab this, but I didn't grab the sheet of paper that I wanted. Let me grab my example. For example, what I want to do today is take about 20 minutes or so and go through a bunch of examples with you guys, making sure that we are setting and getting our equations solved for y, bless you, before you get going. Oh, look, you're about to sneeze. Never mind that. Sorry for being nice. It won't happen again. Now, guys, as you go through these types of problems, remember the main thing that we're doing here is we're trying to get y by itself because it's always the easiest way to figure out slopes. Yes, I know there are other ways to do it. There are other ways to get y by itself sometimes as well. What I want you guys to do is kind of just focus or work, I don't want to say focus, but work towards kind of the same method that I use because I'm trying to make it less cumbersome, a little bit cleaner for you guys to go through. So if I want to get y by itself, what do I want to move? How do you move it? Don't forget, when you rewrite, put the x in front. Okay? Try to remember to put the x up in front so it's already starting to look like the slope-intercept form. And then it works itself into having to divide out. I'm not going to lie, I saw so many people subtracting 5 from all of these instead of dividing by -5. You got to remember that's how you undo the divisions, or undo the multiplication stuff, okay? Right? Exactly. Okay. What's a negative divided by a negative? Okay. And now from that spot, you go through your 3 steps because now you're able to identify what your original slope was. Your original slope in this case wound up being 2/5. So a little bit. Is this a parallel or is this a perpendicular problem? Perpendicular. And why do we know that? Because it says so. So we put in our little symbol. Our perpendicular slope therefore becomes?
5/2.
-1.
Very good. Negative. Remember, change, flip. Change it, flip it. And now we dump right to our point slope form. We have done point slope form a lot. Hopefully by now, we know what it looks like each and every time. And we're using our points and our slope. And it's just a matter of direct substitution. Y minus a negative 5 is y plus 5. We have a negative 5 halves, x minus 4. And again, we're back to a point where we need to distribute. And when we go back to distribute this part, use your calculator. Multiply them together, okay? Or remember, put that away, thank you. Or remember, when you're multiplying fractions, and I know you guys can all do this, this isn't anything crazy. When you multiply fractions, all you're doing, bless you, is multiplying, is it negative 4? Yeah. Bless you. I know it. The allergies right now are unbelievably awful, so. You're just multiplying straight across. What's negative 5 times negative 4?
20.
It's 20. What's 2 times 1?
2.
What's 20 divided by 2?
10.
10.
Did you need a calculator?
No.
Yes.
A lot of these fractions that I've been trying to set you guys up with, like even last night, that's 7/3. 7/3 times 3, 7. It was stuff that you could have written out quickly without having to worry about a calculator. Because I know not everybody has one yet. Okay? I'm not trying to overburden your brains too much. Present company excluded. What did I say it was? 10. And then last but not least, you have to move that 5. What do we do? Subtract. What's 10 minus 5? Pace yourself. And you're done. Remember, it's a matter of just remembering the setup. The setups to each and every one of these problems never changes. And that's the kind of the idea. If we get accustomed to the setup, changing numbers is easy. It's just writing something different. But the sequence in which you start always stays the same. That's the important stuff. Getting that under wraps, getting that taken care of right off the bat, the rest of it falls into place. Okay. All right. Take a minute or so and do that one on your own, and we'll check in a couple minutes. Circulating attendance and all that junk. What's that? What's first then? What'd you do first? All right, how'd you get the y by itself? Subtracted 4x. Everybody agree? Then what? So what's your original slope? Very good. Your original slope becomes negative 4 over 3. What's perpendicular to negative 4/3? Okay. Now we have to distribute again. When you distribute this again, we wind up with y plus 5 is 3/4 x plus, it becomes 18 over 4, which is the same thing as 9 over 2. You okay with that? Now, I need to subtract 5 from that. Now, I don't have a calculator on me, but what I can do, how can I rewrite the shape of the number 5 as a fraction with a denominator of 2? 10 over 2. 10 over 2 is 5. So what I would do is I would rewrite this as 9 halves minus 10 halves. Since they have a common denominator, what's 9 minus 10? -1. Y equals, oops, 3/4 x minus a half. And you're done.
That's not what I did, but I have to say. I don't know.
And the other thing I was going to say is that if you have the fraction, let's say you have the fraction bar one in the multi-view calculator, you did 9 over 2, and then subtract 5. Gives you your answer, you're done. Convenient. You're giving me squinty eyes. What's wrong? Kind of looking. Just asking, just making sure. Sometimes you get the look of like, you'd be surprised the looks I get. The one that really makes me think that you're not doing well is when you're crying. So if you're crying, that usually means things aren't going well for the day. Or sleeping. Proud of you. It's like 2 days I haven't yelled at you.
You yelled at me yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yes. But he stayed awake this whole week.
You know what? Baby steps. Let's do some parallel. Remember, what I'm trying to get a little extra work on here today is getting y by itself.
Why did you not remember where you did your homework? Everyone.
Let's do the same idea. Yes, ma'am. Let's look at the same basic idea, but yet this time we're going to do a parallel problem. Okay? So really the only thing that changes is one little measly step. We still have to get y all by itself. We still need to go through some information like that to set it up. So 9x plus 3y is 8. What's the first thing I'm going to do? Subtract the 9x. Good. So I have 3y is negative 9x plus 8. And now what? Got a 3. Very good. Negative 3x plus 8/3. Do I even care about that 8/3?
Not really.
Not really. Doesn't matter. But
Somewhere it does.
if we graphed it, but I don't really want to graph it. What's my original slope then? What's parallel to a negative 3? Negative 3. There we go. Y plus 4 is negative 3. X plus 1. We're okay with me writing double negatives, right? Distribute out. We have y plus 4, negative 3x minus 3. And now when I subtract 4 over, please be careful here. Don't write negative 3 minus 4 as negative 1. I see it all the time. It's how much? Negative 7. It is a very, very common mistake for you guys to accidentally write negative 1. Don't do that anymore.
I have a question.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
are you getting yourself as negative 3 when the one before you got a fraction?
Every slope's different. Every slope is different. Whether it's a fraction, this is still technically a fraction, it's just over 1. You just don't write it. The fraction stuff it just depends on what line you have to start with. Sometimes you get integer values, sometimes you get fractional values. They're all different. Okay? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the idea. Oop, wrong button. Go that one real quick. Parallel. All right. What's your first step, ladies and gentlemen? Subtract 3x. Did any of you guys add y? It's fine. Did you subtract 5? You get the same. Make sure when you write that's still a negative y, but what's in front of the y you don't see? The reason I put that 1 there, the negative 1, is to remind myself I have to divide everything by a negative 1, which means I'm basically just changing all of my signs. Negative divided by negative is positive, and so on. Which again gets me to a slope-intercept form of an equation. And it's very easy to get slope out of it, which is
3.
what's parallel to 3? 3. So original slope, 3. Parallel slope, 3. Plus 2. Distribute out. We get a y plus 2 is 3x plus 3. And then subtract the 2.
What's the next test?
You all right?
Is it redoing this class? So
Okay. So a couple things I want to show you guys here. One of the things that I wanted to show you guys with what I've decided to start doing for you is that I know that it's tough to get to everybody in every class period. And I know that people wind up being absent here and there, and it's tough to get notes to you and all that other stuff. So one of the things, of the ways that I've decided to alleviate that as an issue, now that we got the Chromebook stuff, no problem, is that I've decided to start recording lessons, which means that when we're done,